Start streaming. Streaming has started.
Mic check 1 2. We live. We live.
It would appear as if we are live.
Yes, sir. So we had a little tutorial by Jamal. Jamal teaching us, showing us how to get it done. So peace. What's going on? It's your man K Ski, also known as Bars by Bilal, also known as Mr. Ak. With the Black Wali.
Yes.
And who do I got on the left hand side of me?
Kava 1, the Magnificent, aka Threat Favre, aka Cavachino del Toro the First, aka Toko Beware. I got a lot.
What was that last one?
Toko Beware.
I thought I had a bunch of aliases.
Oh, I got a few. Einstein times 9 or EX9 if it's a mathematical formulation. But yeah,
Yeah,
we go through a few subtle rebrands in life.
Oh yeah. So, and we got Costier handling the boards.
That's Rise Def Beats. That is my producer. That's my boy, man. The Ukrainian secret weapon. He up in here, man. So,
and we got Jamal helping us, showing us how to get it done.
The man with the plan. He's bestowed his knowledge upon us. I was able to take a roughshod video with my phone, and hopefully I won't have to consult it that many times, and hopefully not live on air.
Yeah.
But
so how's it going, man? How's things?
It's good, all things considered. Those who follow the program may or may not have seen some of my social media posts earlier this week and earlier today. Unfortunately, I was unable to properly schedule our guests. It was my first rookie mistake on this podcast, but we're able to figure out something how we can pivot and move in a positive direction, rescheduling that. And I reached out to the guys, Details and Mr. ESQ from the island. What up? I want to say shout out to Hoodstock as well.
Yeah, what up? Shout out to them. And it's like this, man. When life throws you a lemon, you get some mint and you make mint lemonade.
There you go.
Don't mind me. I've been on this mint lemonade. When we went to Jordan, me and my wife went to this restaurant while we were waiting. They came out and they brought this drink. And I'm from the hood, so lemonade, I done had strawberry lemonade, raspberry lemonade, regular lemonade,
iced tea lemonade,
but this was mint lemonade, and it changed my life up.
Was it like the unsweetened kinds? Like,
oh nah.
It was sweetened up.
Oh, in Jordan they like sweet drinks.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah. So it was mint lemonade. It was sweet. So since we got back, I've been making that every week. Nice. Yeah, I used to do the lemon and mint. And like cucumber water. Yeah.
Trying to get that alkaline, when you're trying to do some more healthy things and stuff. But I didn't sweeten it up, but I definitely got to try some of that mint lemonade. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. Speaking of health, like I said last night, we went. My wife dragged me to the I don't want to say drag me, but she had me go to yoga.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. How was that?
It was good. Like I've been to yoga before. Once in a while we go on Sundays, and I go for like lower backs and hips and stuff. You know what I mean? I'm 54 years old, so
yeah.
So this last night
carry it well.
Last night, thank you, bro. Thank you. Last night it was a different one, but it was still laid back. And it was just funny because me and my wife first time there. My wife is in there, and I know in her mind she's thinking about what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Because she been with me for 20 years. She like, under all this class and sophistication, there's some ghetto-ness up here.
Yeah.
So we doing these positions on yoga, and we got our eyes closed. And so I hear the instructor's voice moving around the room. So then she comes by me, and while I got my eyes closed, I feel this blanket lay on top of me, and then she put this this towel over my eyes, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, she tucking me in. We going night. Like, what, is it time to go to bed?
What kind of yoga is this? Am I in some kind of ceremony or what's happening?
Yeah. So she did a couple of times. One time she had us in the fetal position, turned to the side and stuff. And I was like, do I suck my thumb? Like, what's going on? I felt like a baby up. So my wife, I know in her head, she was like, oh my goodness, what is he thinking about back there? And so when we got home last night, I was like, yeah, when it's all good, but you know, it kind of surprised me when I'm laying there with my eyes closed and I feel this blanket over me, and I'm like, "Mama, is that you, Mom?" You know, but it was cool, man. And one thing that that stuck out was in the beginning, the lady was talking about the lotus flower plant and how it grows. You know, so this ties into join us in the struggle. I'm giving people some science behind join us in the struggle. So what the lady was saying was that the lotus, the environment that it starts out in is rough.
Yeah.
You know, but eventually it grows and it grows out the water and is pristine, is beautiful.
1,000 petals, right? Or something like that. That's what they say about it.
But it started out in a rough environment. You know what I mean? So that's what join us in the struggle means. When people see me with the shirt, the struggle is anything that stops us from being the better us. Like when you're trying to be a better version of yourself, there's going to be a struggle, but you just got to embrace the struggle. Yeah,
lean into it.
Yeah, because that's how you get to become a better person. You can't become a better person without struggle.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And she even told us about this one where they built this they built some type of structure and they had all these plants in there and they had a tree growing in there, and the tree kept falling over, and they was wondering what was going on. So they come to find out that this thing that they built, it didn't have wind, and they found out that trees need wind. They need that resistance so the roots grow stronger and the tree grows taller. Oh, okay. She was hitting us with some wisdom while we was in there and stuff. I was like, man, is this Yoda up in here? Like she just dropping all this. We ain't even start yoga yet, you know what I mean? And like I told my wife, I'm like, you know, I'm from the ghetto, I called it Goga up in this shit. But nah, yoga was good. And after, you know, a rough day at work, and also earlier in the week, got bad news that my uncle passed.
Sorry to hear that, man. Yeah,
my uncle Mickey, he was the patriarch. He was the eldest. You know, and that's the third uncle in 7 months that passed. You know, and once again, just a reminder that life is precious. We got to make the most of each and every moment that we're here.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing about my Uncle Mickey, man, was like, it's funny how your mom, your parent, people tell you stories about your uncles and your grandparents before you came on the scene. So like my Uncle Mickey he was a thuggish, you know what I mean? When I was a kid, I would visit him when I go down south. I visit him.
Yeah.
We would go to the penitentiary to visit him, but he was just always Uncle Mickey to me, and he would have watermelon, and he was Golden Gloves in prison. They wanted him to fight professionally, so he was like the OG of the family.
Yeah.
You know, so he was 84. You know, so he lived the life after he got out, worked. You know, and just the respect, and just somebody who stood on principles. You know what I mean? And just left a real legacy for people in our family. So you see that Frost, that's that Frost family. And you know, my family, we all know that we come from the Most High, we going back to the Most High. So this life right here to us is temporary. So, you know, we celebrating his life.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, he was needed more on that side because he served on this side, you know?
Yeah. So we got a new way of doing things on this show. We shaking it up a little bit.
Yeah. Starting on time is yet to be achieved, but that is a big one on the list. But yeah, we got a lot of things we want to see come to fruition. Me and Ski here, we went and we had a meeting and we kind of chopped it up on some of our own private free time. Yeah. And we had a lot of good ideas. What were some of the takeaways for you?
That's how professional we are. We had meetings, conference calls and stuff. We stepping it up.
There was coffee.
Yeah, we stepping it up.
Yeah,
you know?
Coffee, not alcohol. We're grown-ups now.
But before we go into the new segments and stuff, I want to talk about the Cat Williams. Did you see the Cat Williams interview?
I absolutely did. The day it came out, man. Yeah. I woke up and I'm already seeing the reels and the shorts on YouTube, you know? And yeah, it was just inescapable that first hour and a half that I was awake. And then I was like, well, here it is. Kim was there, and I was just like, hey, let's watch this. He's saying some shit apparently.
Yeah.
And we watched it. And I kind of got sucked in that rabbit hole for like a couple weeks after that. Like I just got out of the rabbit hole about a week ago. But you know what, man? call me crazy, man, but none of that sounds too far from what is possible, or the truth, or who knows, the truth could be a lot worse than that, and that could be like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. And the thing is that people, like me, I'm a young old head. That the stories that he was telling, we already knew. You know what I mean? I mean, even like, again, we talked about before, going back to the early 90s when you had your groups like Public Enemy. They said it in their music, how they were being censored, how certain radio stations weren't playing their music because of the message that they had. So hip hop heads already knew this, but it is kind of validating to hear, to see somebody that's in the industry tell you that, okay, not only are there gatekeepers, but there's a structure in place.
Yeah. And you're not a tinfoil hat enthusiast to actually, see that with an open mind. I think if you have an open mind, it's a lot harder to convince yourself that it's not, happening. And I think it's, what it is though, is I always kind of gotta wonder. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Trust me, I'm on Cat's side with this, right? Yeah. But there were some things he said in that podcast, which I'm just, when you see people completely pivot from something they did before, like 180, especially when they've got a new message, and now part of this new message, there's a complete 180 shift on it. So like the bit about Michael Jackson, I don't know if you remember too much about that part, but he was getting into Oprah, and he was kind of dragging her for what she did to Michael Jackson, which, people have their own opinions on that. But I remember watching Cat Williams back in like the, early mid 2000s. Yep. It was one of his best comedy shows, stand-ups that he did. It was on, like, I think I saw it on Netflix. It's the one where he's wearing like the green suit.
Yeah.
I think he's in Atlanta. And he went in on Mike there. He's
I can't
like,
remember that.
He's talking about like, he's saying like, I don't know if I can repeat it, but he just basically called Michael, that thing that Michael was accused of a lot. I see. I don't even know what words I can say. I'm not green to this podcast stuff. I don't know what words are gonna get us in shit here. But I remember he was like kind of impersonating Mike. He's like, "Don't you ever climb trees?" It's like, "No, I got bills to pay. Blah blah blah. Quit playing with." Never mind. But so he seemed very adamant about that point, and he'd made that point in other skits and other tours. And then when he's calling down Oprah for that, like, I'm not saying there's anything suspicious necessarily, but I'd like to know what was it that changed his whole opinion on Michael, because he had nothing for Michael back in the early 2000s. He was quick to put a pitchfork in him. So, and maybe his stance hasn't changed. Maybe he's just proving a point. Like, regardless of what Michael was to Cat Williams, the fact that Oprah, played it up like she was a very close friend of his when he was alive, and as soon as he passed, she's hosting two of the former accusers that had already dropped the case and kind of disproved any allegations. But like, why would you wait till he's gone and kind of re-platform that then?
That's
what kind of a friend does that?
That's what friends are for. Keep smiling. I mean, come on, Houdini even said it. Friends, how many of us have them? Yeah. Friends, like.
I remember a Friends song. I'm just going to throw this out here randomly. Do you remember Jody Watley?
Oh, friends will let you down. Friends won't be around when you need them most. Come on, your friends. She had Rakim on there, so you already know. Like,
see,
friends are hard to find.
2
so
points.
Be careful.
There we go. Trivia points for Ski there. Nice, man. That was good.
So it was cool hearing that interview. Like I said, Cat Williams was pretty much letting us know, okay, there's a structure there.
Yeah.
And this is something as an artist, I always felt in my heart that, okay, even when I was signed to an independent label and we were being looked at by major labels, I was like, do I want to jump in that ring with them? Because they're going to take over. Like, if they were treating Michael Jackson like crap, if they were treating Prince, I mean, like Prince, like he had the right slave on his face. You know what I mean? Like, if they weren't giving these people their just due, what are they going to do with just the regular artists? They're going to rip you off. So in my mind, I always wanted to be like, okay, either you do that independent grind, or you put yourself in a position to where if you do sit down with these corporations, you negotiating from a place of strength and not weakness. You're not being desperate. Yeah. So that also kind of sparked the inspiration for the first segment of the show, is having businesses and organizations and entrepreneurs. Yes. So what we're going to do on the first segment, the first hour of the show, we're going to have entrepreneurs, business owners, or people from organizations come in to, tell us their stories, but also let artists know about the resources that's available. Yeah, definitely. And, we'll also through this be seeking sponsors eventually through the program. This first 6 months of 2024, we're just kind of reformatting things and figuring out what's good and what works. Some of these new segments that we're gonna try out, maybe they won't work, maybe they will, but we're gonna definitely work hard to kind of whittle it down to where we got a nice well-oiled machine here. And that segment that my man Ski was talking about here, we were gonna call it Breaking Bread, right? Something like that. And that's what I want. I think that's the first order of business, just trying to figure out a name for that segment. I done had everything from Handle Your Business, Grind Date. I think we said Breaking Bread. Yeah. People that's out there, if y'all got some names for to help us out with a name, we're trying to name the first segment of the show where we have businesses, entrepreneurs, and organizations come in to tell us a little bit about what they do in the community, and again, we're trying to build a community and network of people and resources. So Breaking Bread does sound good. Yeah, well, because when we were talking about what the podcast is and how we would like this to be, is there's the artists and there's the business people, and then we're bringing the right people in the scene, in the art form, to the table. And the podcast, we're the table. We are serving at the table that our guests are coming here to sit and break bread with us, break bread with each other, with you guys who are watching as well. We definitely want to drive up engagement with people that are following us on Twitch, people that are following in the live feeds. I'm not the most tech savvy person. I don't think either of us are too all-star at that. So even though I had a computer since I was 10 years old or something, but still.
Yeah. So we're gonna definitely try to have a format, where different segments that are repeat segments, and the fan base is eventually going to identify with that. Oh, what did they do for Breaking Bread or whatever? There's a good mission for all of our Beyond the Lyrics followers right now. If any of you would like to holler at us at whatever format works best for you and give us ideas, an idea of what do you think that first segment should be called? What would you like to see in the show?
Especially artists, artists out there grinding. What are some of the things that you want to see? What are some things that you feel is missing, or that you wish you had access to? And you let us know, and we'll try to get that. Because, like he said, this is the table, and we're inviting people to come sit down and break bread with us. And me as a artist, I've been underground since I was 16 years old, 15 years old. So I know what it's like to be an artist and trying to figure out what's the next step to do. What, especially after you record something. Yeah. Okay, where do I go from here?
That was always my biggest, Achilles heel, ever since back when we first met, man. I would always get in the studio. I'm down to grind. I want to write new music, new stuff. a lot of times we were able to get songs done that the day we started it, the day we finished it. But if it didn't get finished, man, or when you get your songs done, I just that follow through, getting it like to album, getting it to complete fruition was always a problem for me. So it's gonna be awesome to face those demons that I've always had via this podcast.
Yeah,
and with your help as well. And we're gonna tackle this systematically. And we're gonna find that happy medium between what serves us and what we're wanting to do and what we're wanting to contribute as well. Because you can make something all day, but if people don't want it, you know what I mean, like, you go
or even know that it exists.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have some good music, but if nobody knows that it exists, and so part of why we want to bring, again, like I said, businesses and entrepreneurs and organizations is helping artists, build their team, build their network. Because you can't do everything by yourself. It definitely, there's a point where you can do a lot of stuff by yourself, but then it comes to a point where you need a team.
You just kind of max out what you can accomplish. You know what I mean? Like, how does that say? Like, when you get a fish, it only grows as big as the bowl. You know what I mean? So we're just trying to expand the bowl out here, and the only way the bowl grows is you add more fish to it, I guess. So I'm thinking very metaphorically right now, but it seems to be making sense.
As an MC, as you should as an MC.
Yeah. I can't really shut that part of my brain off. I'm just hoping it works in podcasting really well. But like, what are things that you right away have seen from when you first started this podcast, like even before me, to let's say by the end of 2023, so even before I came on, what were you able to kind of like solidify? Like, I'm sure you had goals, and then like what by the end of 2023 did you see kind of taking shape?
Well, the first thing was showcasing the artists, getting people up here to not only showcase their talent, but tell their stories and talk about their struggles and, what inspired them, because that can help other people. So throughout the course of that, I saw that, when you look at whether it's Icon, hip hop,
the shout out to Icon,
community that they have, or One Order, the community, I saw that there's this kind of fragmented community that's here. So what I wanted to do moving into the new year, 2024, was, okay, we had artists come here, showcase their skills, dope artists, but how can we be of service to them? So I was like, again, drawn from my own experience being out there grinding, okay, you need to, like what you talked about with sponsorship. I remember, when we were putting shows together back in the day, when we putting shows together, having sponsorship, to help offset certain costs. And also, when you, what they call back then, cross promotions, because it helps expand that message.
I find that honestly doesn't really happen enough, near as much as it should, for people on our level. I think it's getting better now, but let's take it back to like 20 years ago when we first met. Well, back then it wasn't like everybody and their neighbor's dog was a rapper at the same time too. But it was still like, it was like everybody was so focused on carving out their own niche and their own lane that there wasn't a lot of interaction and there wasn't a lot of intermingling. Some of it was like sort of beef and like, pettiness related, but a lot of it was just artists. I guess that just wasn't the way back then. You know what I mean? Everybody just kind of carved out their own little path and you stuck to that. And if you met homies along the way, then they came with you and, you work together with this group. You always get those artists and those groups that you're always on the cards with and you travel with sometimes and shit like that. But now I guess through, social media, everybody overlaps, but it's almost like oversaturated. A little bit. And that's not a slight on any of the talent in the talent pool. I'm just saying that when there is so many different artists and different subgenres and niches within, you know, what we call hip hop, and it's easy to get lost in the shuffle. You know, you can't. It's hard to tell which of the guys that are trying to push it and really make a brand. It's from the guys that are doing it for like making parody and humor content. Yeah. And the people that are doing it because they love this shit, but they're not having any plans of pursuing a music career. They're just passionate and really talented. Yeah. Yeah. So it's become more acceptable for artists to kind of work together. Yeah. But I think there's still a lack of an infrastructure and an organized. I don't know if it needs to be organized, but just too much artists winging it. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Well, and that's kind of what we want to do here is help build the infrastructure because like we said, you know, yeah, you can get signed by a major label if that's the route you want to go, but just know. You know, they're gonna rob you blind, you know, and if you're a person who actually stand for something and say something, they're gonna try to silence you. Now, if you're trying to do something on your own, then like we said, you have to build your team, you have to build an infrastructure. Like I can remember not only putting on a show, but trying to promote the show and make sure things run like for artists.
Oh, it's hell, man. You're trying to set up the sound check. You're trying to, you know, do we have a liquor license? Are we allowed to sell booze at this one? Do we got our ticket girl at the front door that's like taking the tickets? Do we got our security guys? Yeah. Is the DJ bring his shit? it's a lot of shit, man.
All that while you like, man, I got to remember my rhymes. I got to get my mode and get ready. So that's when it's important to have people around you, to have a team that can handle those tasks for you so you can be in the space as an artist.
That's why I needed a Teos back in the day with Homegrown, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Teos.
Yeah, shout out to Teos, the corruptor, formerly known as. But that's why I needed a Teos, man, because until we brought him in at Homegrown, I was just kind of, like I just said, winging it. You know what I mean? And it's because I was the one, I felt the most focused to get it done. Even though there was no game plan, there was not really anybody before, you know, the groups I was involved in doing it. So we were kind of like creating this template on how to do it. And just consistently, we weren't really getting it right. And the main thing for me is I was just allowing us to get lowballed. I was just happy to be there. You know what I mean? The shows we were having back then, like it was like packed, like completely sold out. Line up around the door, like out the door, around the corner. People are waiting at the front door for people to come out to come back in, and you can't get back in unless someone comes. Like we had that shit locked. Yeah, it was a great thing, and it's never been done in Nanaimo since then. And like, there's a lot of good artists that have been doing shit, but I have yet to see it go back to those days. You know, and I think that this is the beginning of that because 2024 is the age of collaboration. Everybody's going to start working together instead of against each other because we're stronger as a unit. Yeah. And ultimately, we're all trying to get to the same place, man. Like, we're fortunate that for the most part, we don't have things like gang violence causing a division in our scene. You know, there's drugs and vices in every scene, so that's no different. You know what I mean? But like, there's a lot of other major markets, you know, like in Toronto, even still in Canada, where you know, violence and you know, stuff that's going on in the streets is affecting the music, the culture, artists' ability to even move safely. You know? Yeah. And I think that's where it makes sense for us to spearhead this, you know, because we're also guys that are happy to just do this. We're not doing this as like, of course, I know this podcast will help my music. I know, you know what I mean? But I just love this so much that I would be doing this even if I wasn't an artist. You know, this isn't my, what is it? Ulterior motive. You know, I don't have an ulterior motive where this is like my jump off stepping stone point. And I think there's a lot of rappers doing podcasts and stuff like that now. And I think that's kind of what maybe as a third person, outside observer, it almost appears that that's what these motivations are, is to create a podcast, and it's really just to elevate their brand.
Yeah.
And like other guys can come on and they can kind of steal some gas from this guy's jerry can, and put it in their fire. But I think that like you were talking about, it plateaus to a certain point, and that's where more resources are needed. But it needs to be a safe place to share those resources, and where people are going to feel comfortable and not feel compromised to collaborate,
And one thing for me, like when I came out here in the Northwest, I always felt like there was so much talent out here, and that it was slept on, So So when I had the opportunity to have this platform, it was about showing this talent, but I wanted to take it a step further. Like you said, okay, I've been through this and that, so I picked up some gems along the way.
Yeah.
And now you want to give that back
Exactly.
to help other people navigating. Like the last show we had, Nakio here.
Man.
Yeah.
That was an impressive young man. Shout out to Nakio, man. His music catalog and as a person, he's a very, very impressive human being for sure.
Yeah. I'm still jealous. He had the song "Where Are We There Yet?" The concept and everything. I was like, when an artist tell you a concept of a song they have, and you're like, man, that's dope. Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
But
I've had a few of those moments.
But again, a very talented artist, a good person. So he's trying to see, okay, how do I navigate?
Yeah.
So as trying to play that role as a big brother or unk or a young old head, just trying to take some of those lessons learned and pass it down, but also help provide a solution, for people who's trying to maneuver independently, So, last year was great, man. So many people came through, so many talented artists. So this year, I still wanted us to do that, but I wanted us to also have a segment where we can, share resources. We can share information that can empower, the artists. And so that's the vibe moving forward.
Hell yeah.
That's the how should I say? That's the vision,
the mantra, the mission statement.
Yeah. Inspire, empower, and what was the
enlighten?
Was it enlighten? I'm gonna have to look at the flyer.
Yeah. I think I got stuck on the alliteration of that whole thing. Just sucked me right in.
No, it's inspire, inform, and empower.
We go.
That's what we close.
Do.
Yeah, that's gonna be the mantra: inspire, inform, and empower. So what was the? Let me see. As far as an independent artist, can you share a story about some of your experiences? For me, when I was signed to an independent label, I put my own tour together from Portland all the way up to Vancouver. I got out there, network, had a show in Portland, then a week later had a show in Tacoma, then a show in Seattle, then Everett, Bellingham, all the way up to Vancouver.
Nice.
And again, when you're young and if you got the bandwidth, you can do that, but sometimes it's just better to have people help you do that.
Yeah.
And even when my song got picked up on the radio station down in Seattle, just that whole process, because in Seattle back in the day on Cube 93, they used
Cube 93.
Yeah.
Shout out.
For the rest of the young old heads out there, they know what Cube 93
Hell
is.
yeah, man.
But
that was a flashback.
They used to have kind of like unsigned hype.
Unsigned hype, yeah.
And they would play local artists' music on Sunday night, which kind of crazy. They playing it at Sunday night at 11 o'clock. But actually people would listen, and they would have two local artists go up against each other, their songs.
Oh, yeah.
And
do you remember the artist you went against?
I can't remember, but that's the thing. My song was got voted 11 weeks in a row.
Woo!
And then once it got to that level, then they looked at putting it in regular rotation.
Nice.
So me being green, I'm thinking, oh, they feeling my stuff. it's gonna be on regular rotation. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I'm waiting around and I'm like, why my song ain't being played on there? So come to find out that Q93 was owned by Clear Channel.
Mm-hmm.
So again, this structure, this corporation owned the radio station, so they had to get approval from Clear Channel.
Yeah.
To play. So even then, when Clear Channel went ahead and said, okay, you may play his music, they played my music Monday through Friday from 6 at night to 6 in the morning. Because during the daytime, that was reserved for, so this 2003, so that was reserved for your Eminem,
Nelly,
your 50 Cent, your Nelly. So that was reserved for labels, major labels who were breaking,
buying payola. Good old payola.
So on the weekend they did play my song in regular rotation, but during the weekday, which was crazy to me because you talking about rush hour before work, rush hour after work. That's the busiest time of the day. Why wouldn't you want, if you're trying to blow up your city? Why wouldn't you want to play your local artist that's getting love at that time? So that was my first experience. Like, oh, okay. So it's not just about me giving my record to a DJ and they feeling it and they play it on the radio. Nah, there's a whole system that they got to go through.
And that, my friends, is what is called the almost tier. And a lot of your favorite artists hate the almost tier, and a lot of us get stuck there for life, but we ain't gonna be there for life. But yeah, it's I know what you're saying, man. It feels like things like your foot's in the door. You know what I mean? Like I remember going to the grocery store in Nanaimo sometimes, man, and like just as Rob, not Kava One, and like people like coming and get me to come sign like their shirt or like sign they had a CD on them, and like, holy shit, I barely sold any of these. How you got these? But you know, you get those little glimpses of what that life is like, and then, you know, unless you have a plan in place on how you're going to approach completing that move that you're trying to make, you just, you know, it's the almost carries. You just get to be on this semi-regionally famous tip for however long. Purgatory.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you say about planning. You know, as an artist, and that's, you know, when we bring artists up here, one of the things I like to ask artists is, you know, what is your voice? You know, what is your purpose? That's the most important thing you can do as an artist, is find your voice. It's like when you look at now, even to this day, so many people still love Tupac. You know what I mean? Even artists that's coming out now don't get the same love as Pac or DMX. You know, because their music was authentic,
timeless.
Their music, they was talking about real shit. You know what I mean? So that's what separate the artists that people listen to 10, 20, 30 years down the road, as opposed to this one artist, he pops off. And then you don't hear about them no more. You know what I mean? So it's up to the artist to figure out what are you trying to do with your art.
And there's so many different ways to do it now too, man. Like I've thought of some pretty crazy ideas. You know, I've got posters off of artists I found on Fiverr. You know what I mean? For like shows and stuff like that, and you know, album artwork for. I've done stuff like that. You know, there's different. You can hire a personal assistant to try and tackle a task list, or you know, the organic way we had, where just like you have homies that are all in a group and people just kind of figure out their roles. You know, Teos knew he was on the management tip because he was able to like talk the money up for us. You know, I think that's the other thing is, guys, you know, when you do have a team, and I'm gonna use the word team very loosely because there's a lot of people, when it's show day, your team is like 150 deep because everybody wants to get the free tickets, you want to get in the green room, this, that, and the other, blah 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 blah. But then, you know, when you had your song come and get released, and you know your shine is kind of like faded a bit, then now your team's down to like, you know, single digits. But I'm talking about those permanent team members. Though, guys, there's a need to find a role and excel at that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like too many guys want to be the leader of the group.
Too many chiefs. Too many chiefs?
Yeah. Or I'm the producer. But there could be like 3 or 4 guys in a group that makes beats. But like this guy, you know. So I think the key is I always use sports, man. Sports. You play sports, right? Sports was always a good mentality to embrace. Shout out to my football coach in high school, Rob Stevenson. He taught me a lot of shit that I carried with me all through my entire music career. And you know, even things as growing into becoming a man, I learned from him. But sports is one of those instances where, you know, a lot of us have, you know, a lot of people get to play sports, boys and girls, you know, and you know, the objective is always the same no matter what the sport is. We're going to work together, we're going to accomplish a goal, and hopefully we're going to win. And I think sometimes people are in groups, but they're thinking like a solo. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there's, you know, a group of 5 guys and there's 3 of them that are just picturing their success. They're not actually seeing the whole team's success. The team is, you know, the vehicle to get to the success, but when they get to the success, they want to get out of the vehicle, and now it's just, no, they're there by themselves, you know? But,
well, since you said about sports, it made me think about, because I use this analogy even when in business and stuff at work, when we're talking about the team. And there's supposed to be a unified goal, and that's to win the championship. Not everybody can beat Kobe.
No.
You know what I mean? I don't want to see Horace.
Please don't.
I don't want to see Derek Fisher trying to get 40 points.
No.
That's Kobe and Shaq. You chip in when you can. You know, go ahead and get your 10 assists, 12 assists. Get you 12, 14 points. Get you some rebounds, a couple of steals.
But all that matters is get the dub. That's what matters at the end of the day, right?
It's about playing your position, knowing your position.
Exactly. And Shaq ain't out there trying to get 10 dimes a game. You know? Shaq's not trying to draw the foul. He's trying to dunk that shit. If you fouled him, he just happened to get fouled while he's dunking on you. He doesn't want no part of the free throw line.
So, same thing. Like, okay, these are the MCs. This is the beat maker. This is the manager. You know what I mean? So, and it's about people playing their prospective roles and excelling and pushing themselves to be the best that they can be in that position. You know, but like you said, sometimes you get people who they don't have the same plans.
Well, so, you know what? This what I think I know what you're talking about. Like when you collab with an artist, there's 2 ways an artist collaboration goes down. You know, we collab nice. You know, because we're trying to win. We're not trying to score 50, you know. But there's 2 ways people will do a song with you. There's an alley-oop. That's how we play. I see you coming down the court. Defense is sagging. I'm going to toss you that lob. You're going to smash that shit, take it home, right? But then there's the other guys. And I call that a track meet. And that's where, okay, I'm on this song. And, you know, we've got a point. We've got like an artistic direction or a concept. But that's secondary. The main thing is I got to make sure that it's blatantly clear that I am the best rapper on this song. I'm the best singer on this song. I'm the best artist. And, you know, so out the window with cohesiveness, out the window with anything that detracts from them elevating themselves and pedestaling themselves in this great Mount Olympus. You know, it's guys that you got to separate the people that want to run track meets, and you got to run with the people that want to toss alley-oop passes. That's what you got to do.
Well, you know, ego is a hell of a drug. You know, it made me think about when me and my wife, we were talking about when we went to Egypt and we went to see the Sphinx. And we were at home joking, and we was like, just imagine the ego of the person who's like, yo, I want to get everybody in the village or everybody in the city to build this statue. I want the body to be like a cat, but I want to have my face. You know what I mean? Like get everybody in town to build this monument of a cat and put my face on it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's this ego, you know? So that's the number one threat to what you're talking about, the team or collaboration, because sometimes you have to make a sacrifice if you're trying to make the best outcome.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know what? You can be the artist that carves that Sphinx with that lion body and put your face on it. But you know what? After you gone, somebody gonna take the nose off of that Sphinx anyways. So it's all about how you carried yourself when you were still around building that monument, and how people will hold that monument in memory after you're gone.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Yeah. So, one again, kind of the checklist is definitely building a team, getting people around you who's dedicated to the overall mission. So that means
Absolutely.
And that means sitting down with your compadres and saying, hey, this is the goal right here.
Oh yeah.
It's like when you think about Wu-Tang, RZA, sitting down with all those members and saying, okay, give me 5 years.
Yeah.
Give me 5 years and we're gonna go from here to here. And I don't know how he did it with like 8, 9 different dudes, but
yeah, like how does even the song process? You got 9 guys there. I only need 4.
Yeah. Or is it like first come, first serve?
Yeah, no doubt. I think in that situation, that's how it would have to go down. That's one thing though. I was always lucky whenever I was collaborating with other guys. If we were writing right there on the spot, I was usually one of the first done. So I was never left off the track. Thank God for that. I learned how to write really fast. Just kind of shout out to my homie Mikey Money, my best friend. He's one of. I was in the group Money One with him in the Nanaimo, but this guy would write a song in 15 minutes. No joke, but no editing. So sometimes, even Mike will tell you, sometimes the bars were trash. Not the whole thing, but he might just have a little filler. You could have, I'd be the one that you could have tightened that up a little bit, homie. He's like, and he would always say quantity over quality, which to me that was like, what? Yeah. But it's an oversaturated market to begin with, and you're gonna go paint all these Picassos and then try to sell them out on the street corner. Like nobody's gonna know that they're Picassos because they all kind of appear to be the same. You gotta put them in a different backdrop for them to pop.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm running onto a tangent where my point is evaporating right now. So right now I'm going to throw my safety ring to Ski, and he's going to take it moving right along. Sometimes I do rant a bit and I lose my point.
Well, no. Again, it's just us building. We talking about the vision for this show moving forward.
Yeah.
How can we help artists, and that's part of what this the first segment is helping show that there's resources available right here.
Yes.
That they can reach out to, they can network, again, going back to, I know people, when you say the word 2020, everybody like, oh, but so when you say 2020, people will be like, oh, but one thing that showed me was the importance of community, and me and my wife, we go to kickboxing gym, and the fact that we couldn't, for a little while, we couldn't go. I mean, we were trying to work out in the garage. We would have our instructor on the laptop, and we trying to work out in the garage and all that. And it just wasn't the same as going to the gym.
No, man, life hit different at that point, man. Like even just how you said that, I almost kind of put myself back in a box. It was like bad feelings, man.
Yeah. Even when I see people with a mask, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
You scream.
Still drinking that Kool-Aid? That went stale like 2 years ago. Come on now.
But no, the importance of community, like we were missing being able to go and hang out with friends and family. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to do with this, is to build this community where cats we can share resources.
Yeah.
Because you may have this and I have this over here. We come together, we got these resources that we can share.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can compete against the big boys.
And we're just one infinity gemstone in the gauntlet, There's still other ones that need to be, united to make the whole infinity gauntlet. But but that's the thing, is people don't recognize the potential until they kind of look at all the pieces on the chessboard, you know. But if you're only looking from the perspective of, you know, the pawn, or not even the pawn, maybe I'm the rook, you know, the one that moves in the L. So I'm only seeing life in L's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not seeing like this, oh, I could be going this lane that the bishop's doing, or I could be doing what this guy's doing, you know?
See, that's the bar right there. Only see life in L's.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
So you know, that's the first segment. So the second segment, we keeping the same, is about showcasing talent. It's about having artists come up here and shedding the spotlight on, you know, not only the music and the art that they put out, but also their story. You know what I mean? Where they, you know, what inspired them, where they draw these inspirations from. So moving into that segment, we gonna do some we got a treat for people. We gonna play some unreleased tracks now.
Oh snap.
Yeah. So Costia,
the homie Rise Def right here.
Rise Def. You talking about dope beats. So let me just tell you, man, when we went on our trip to Egypt and Jordan, I was listening to your beats, and I got in the zone. I was writing rhymes, and my wife, I think she got mad at me. We were on the bus. I'm sitting there. We passing by Monument. We passing by all these relics and stuff, and I'm like, man, this dope beat right here. Because, you know, as an artist,
you gotta squeeze the lemons when they fresh, right?
Yeah. It's like his beats were talking to me.
Yes.
So
that's why I knew to send them to you, man. I knew this guy's the truth, dog. I'm telling you.
I can see my wife. She looking over. She's like, "Are you writing rhymes?" I was like, "Yeah." Hold on. Which was kind of crazy because here we are in Egypt. And I got my phone. Just technology. I'm on YouTube and stuff, and so dope music, man. So when we talked about linking up and working on a project, we was like, yo, we got to get some of his dope beats.
We gotta get that. So
this track, tell me about this Trust the Process.
Trust the Process. So,
or is it just called Process?
No, it's Trust the Process.
Okay.
That's basically kind of like how we've been talking about a mantra for the show. That's how me and Kostya, that's our mantra just for moving in life. You know, we work together as well in our day job, so we see each other like every day as long as we get sent to the same site. See, he's like, no, don't tell these guys we got day jobs. No, we can't fool anybody in Canada, dog. Maybe in Ukraine we can pull that off. But yeah, so we have a common mission, man. We'll be up on a roof talking about, we can't wait for music to save us from this shit. But that's what it's been like, you know. We met, you know, my first day working there. Somebody told me he's a producer. I'm like, oh, I'm an artist. And then we chopped it up, you know, and then he sent me his links and I heard all his beats. But we still hadn't worked together. You know, you would have known, but my man, he's a little bit of an English barrier, not much, you know. It's a molehill, you know. But you know, with that, it took a little time for us to get to know each other. You know, where there was like a synergy, you know, chemistry and stuff. But we kind of knew this from the beginning. We just we didn't know what we were doing. We knew what we had to contribute. He had his beats, his mixing, his mastering, which, by the way, any artist in this city, if you want to sound like top-notch, state-of-the-art, this is my dude here, Rise Def Beats. I'm telling you, everything that's coming out from me is going to be through this guy. So you're going to get to hear it. And this isn't blowing my horn. This is me blowing his horn. You know? But we've just had to trust the process, you know?
Yeah.
That wasn't even the first song we were planning to put out. It's just
how it worked out.
Yeah, it's kind of how it worked out, and then it just kind of stood out for the theme, you know? There's been a little bit of delays in our process. You know, this song, we wanted to drop it this month, already have it out, but I switched digital distributors over to TuneCore, and just, you know, like I said before, I'm not the most tech savvy person. So in switching that, I'm kind of learning all the different nuances with it. And it suggested that I wait a month so all digital stores can review it. I think if I did that, there's like quantifiably more digital stores it gets released to versus if I would have just dropped it like a week from when I had uploaded it. I think I could have gone to maybe 19 digital stores, and and then all the big streaming platforms, but I didn't want to limit us. In making that decision, that was part of trusting the process. Recording with CostGen, sometimes I hit parts that I don't really like because we have a different artistic approach as well. He's gone many levels deeper in this music shit than I have, so he knows how clean and pristine things need to sound, where I used to be that guy. I get in the studio and I spit my verse and I'm 93% accurate, maybe a little bit of a slight stumble here or a mumble there, and I was the kind of guy I would just do a backup punch-in vocal over top of it, and that's how I clean it up. Sorry. I didn't put that extra 7% of work that needed to be done to make it perfect. But now that I've worked with this guy, and he's shown me, like, I think, how many was it? 13 different mixes of Trust the Process by the time it was done, right? 15.
He's like, no, 15.
I don't know a lot of artists that are going back to the studio, or mixing engineers, mastering engineers that are going back for a 15th attempt at perfecting a song. If that isn't trusting the fucking process, man, I don't know what is.
So let me ask you, when you heard that beat, because it's a dope beat, like a lot of his beats are dope.
Yeah.
So when you heard that beat, what came to your mind? Was it like instantly, like, trust the process, the words start coming, or did you have to sit with it for a little while?
The energy of Trust the Process came immediately. Immediately, like what I'm saying in that song, like the lyrics came immediately. The hook came secondary. I almost always start on lyrics, like writing the verses first.
Yeah, same here.
I'm very punchline driven. I'm trying to get away from that. I don't know why it's suddenly looked at as like it looks a certain way if you just punchline. One of my favorite rappers, Junk. I saw him on social media recently, and
Shout out to Junk.
Shout out to Junk. He's the dude. He's my favorite Canadian artist right now, man, and has been for quite some time. But yeah, he mentioned something about I appreciate a conceptual song approach over punchlines, but punchlines are still dope and they have their place. But when we first met, punchlines was like, that was the lifeblood. Punchlines that's what made you God back then, and but now using that same approach, you can sound really dated. I sounded dated for a long time, man. Like I resist the trap movement for a long time. I downgraded it to and cast it off as mumble rap, and I just didn't think it had anything. But then I just kind of realized it's an aesthetic. Like it doesn't have to be about, bandos and racks and getting that work and moving that work. It doesn't not need to be all that. It's really, you want to know, when I wrote it down, I just kind of looked at it formulaically. So, if most beats, hip hop beats, are going to be a 4/4 count, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. So what I noticed, trap is just 3 of those 4 counts you rap and then you leave a pause. So you'd be like, and then that's what I did, man. When I just took a formulaic approach to it until I kind of got comfortable with it, because I didn't even know how to rap on beats. Like I did, but like not well, like to the level that I normally could. Just all of these digital beats and there's no sample. Like, that really threw me for a loop for a while, man. But then eventually I got used to it, and now I don't have to think about what I'm doing. I just think about what I'm saying, and that's how I think it should always be. But yeah, so I just kind of knew that's where I felt when I started writing that song, because I think honestly it was probably about the 4th or 5th song that we had started. I think we've got maybe 12, 13 right now. since September.
Oh, okay.
But we're really probably out of the ones we got done right now, maybe only 4 of them are really going to get released, I think. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Because new music keeps coming out and stuff keeps getting better. And that's the other thing too, is when there's huge gaps between what happened in September and what's happening in February, it's almost like you want to put the music that came out that you made in September out, but now it's a weird look, you know? Now it's like putting a flip-flop next to a high-top Jordan, and you're going to walk out the house with a flip-flop and a Jordan on. Like, they both shoes, but
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Is there a way to play the music out the speakers? Or no?
There is. Yeah.
So you can hear it, because if not, y'all won't be able to hear it. So we're gonna
trust the process right now.
Yeah, we're gonna trust the process, so we can hear the this dope track in the studio.
This will be my newest track, which will be debuting on all major streaming platforms February 23rd of this month. So 22 more days. I'm a bit of a astrology and numerology buff, so I liked the numerical order of 2, 23, 24. So that's why I picked that date. No rhyme or reason other than I'm just playing the numbers. But that's gonna be the first one. I don't think we're gonna take as long to release the next one. Like, I'm thinking maybe March 4th. Again, 3, 4, 2, 4. I don't know. It's everything's gonna be like some kind of weird esoteric footnote with me a lot of times.
All right, we good?
We good.
Okay, let's give it a try.
Here we go. I hope y'all like this.
Will we have to turn down our mics?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they won't feedback.
Word. So, again, I just want to shout out my producer, who is a engineering training right now for the podcast, Kostyantin Shadov, aka Rise Def Beats, aka The Secret Weapon, all the way from Kiev, Ukraine. And he's got quite the resume. In fact, my man was doing TV commercials for Puma out in Kiev before he left, before the conflict and everything had started out there. Okay, is the song playing?
No, I ain't started yet. Let me see.
Here we go.
Yeah. Rise Def, Cover 1, motherfuckers. Here we go. You gotta trust your gut.
I don't know the words
If
well
not,
enough to rap.
trust the process. Even when you running out of options, that's the object. People wanna see you falling off or in the coffin. Friends might even stab you in the back to turn a profit. I know this all sounds awful, but you gotta trust. To thine self remain faithful. As above, so as below, I stay grateful. This must remain a staple and a mantra, just to be able to have a chance to run the gauntlet. Are we there yet? Save your breath, you ain't even finished the stairs yet. You're still unaware how thin up there the air gets, until I run an airstrike on these arrogant airheads. Apparently they're dead. I come with more sincerity, theirs is a parody at best. It's a weird flex. Respect to the real vets who's really out here repping that real shit. There's indie hustle money, no record label to deal with. Trust the process. Even when you running out of options, that's the object. People wanna see you falling off or in the coffin. Friends might even stab you in the back to turn a profit. I know this all sounds awful, but you gotta trust the process. Even when you're running out of options, that's the object. People wanna see you falling off or in the coffin. Friends might even stab you in the back to turn a profit. I know this all sounds awful, but you gotta trust. On the day when the phoenix came, rising from the flames, and the pain from the fear inside rises from the grave. The hibernating giants now decided to awake. The time will soon arrive for the deciding of our fates, right? Even when you're running out of options, that's the object. People wanna see you falling off or in the coffin. Friends might even stab you in the back to turn a profit. I know this all sounds awful, but you gotta trust the process.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Trust the process. So you say that's coming out when?
February 23rd. So no. So it's Thursday. So I'm guessing that would be Saturday, the 23rd of February.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we're gonna have to drop the track that we have with Rise Up fairly soon as well.
Yeah.
You know what? I can't remember if we even have a proper title for that yet.
I don't think we even have a name for it.
Yeah.
So I got 2 tracks. I don't even have a release date for them, but this first one, so this producer hit me up, or this beat maker hit me up, and he was like, "Yo, I listened to your music. You got some dope music. I got some beats. I want, you know what I mean?"
Yeah.
So it's one of that.
Who's the producer?
Beats by Sick.
Okay, yeah. On Instagram.
Yeah.
He hit me up before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got good shit.
Oh yeah. So this is one, and I recorded it at Chemo. Shout out to Chemo. I went to his studio to record it, but I'm gonna release it this month. Not sure which date yet.
Light it up.
Smoking mirrors, I see it clearly, but I'm prayed up so these devils can't get near me. All I hear is idol worshiping in their lyrics, but to a man of God doesn't feel right in my spirit. That's why I move to a different vibe. These bars like Cracker Jacks, they come with a gift inside. Only for those chosen, but still accessible so these haters can stick their nose in. Smelling like frankincense and musk, almost 40 years in, and I never lost my touch. All due to grace, these blessings I keep counting up. Devil run this world, so its approval don't amount to much. So while they look for validation, I miss a lot, praising a lot for elevation. Time wasting, they chasing after phantoms, so they sold, so the devil holding it for ransom. And he keep them on a tight leash. That's why they spitting nonsense over hype beats. Now they asking where did the soul go? Trying to find a true MC, but that's a no-go. Till I come for Dolo with a pen in hand to flow my market strategy like a business plan. P&L statement from the life that I live, lessons learned. So now I'm more focused on the positive. Yeah. Sit back and just feel it. Let these words heal your spirit. From the wisdom in these lyrics, that's how the Most High engineered it. Sit back and just feel it. Let these words heal your spirit. From the wisdom in these lyrics, that's how the Most High engineered it. Yeah, these skills are different pedigree. A recipe helping cultivate a better me. So the struggle's necessary for development. Focus on righteousness while some thirst for relevance. Lacking intelligence to follow after lust. Pimp by corporate, and these the ones we supposed to trust? Nah, I'm gonna have to take a pass. Trust in my Lord, so in the end I had a last laugh. But ain't no jokes in this discussion. These words give them life, I just spit them over percussions. A smooth groove to show my timing's impeccable. Independent, making moves that's respectable. But right now I'm on that rock Marciano flow. To watch these non-believers drop like they were dominoes. Another ghetto jam from your fellow man. Higher science in these bars so they know who I am. Sit back and just feel it. Let these words heal your spirit. From the wisdom in these lyrics, that's how the Most High engineered it. Sit back and just feel it. Let these words heal your spirit. From the wisdom in these lyrics, that's how the Most High engineered it. Yeah, Four Corners, chocolate block.
Yeah. So
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. That was a gem.
I'm gonna release that this month sometime. So this one right here, this next one I'm gonna play. My buddy might get mad at me. My man Paul, we got this band called Beats, Blues, and Bars. So this right here is all live music. My man RB, Richard Brown on drums, and shout out to my man Timmy Boom Bap. We recorded this in his studio, and this is going to come out probably in March, April. So.
Yeah, Mr. Invisible, who just an individual trying to find his place in life and the love that's unconditional. In his daily ritual that's so mundane, he's consumed by emotions that comes from pain. Powerless once he reaches the stage in life, didn't get his just due though he paid the price. This turns into resentment, depressing the soul. Couldn't understand the wisdom as the lessons unfold, so his heart became cold, growing numb to reality. Cynicism transformed his personality. No longer pleasant, his presence reeks the sorrow. Pessimistic when he thinks about tomorrow. Glass half empty, that's the point of view. He chooses to select with anything that he's going through. Lack of faith got him feeling miserable. Now he's just another soul that's invisible. On the physical, but never took the time to put in work on the spiritual, causing an imbalance. Anytime she faced with a challenge, thinking beauty is her only talent. Until time grab a hold, take its toll. She realizes life is out of her control. Now faced with facts that's undeniable. Still she places her trust on things that's unreliable, which only leads to her heart that's being broken. Vulnerability, leaving her open to manipulation. Chasing what's elusive, trapped in relationships that's abusive. Low self-esteem, so she wanna be seen on the scene like a queen who's living beyond the means, only adding the feelings of being miserable. Now just another soul that's invisible.
Them chords though, man.
Yeah.
Woo! I felt that.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a project we've been working on, and we're probably going to release that in April. We got some shows lining up for the spring, and I'm not going to say the title. I'm not going to say the title of the project yet, I don't want my man to get mad at me, but yeah, that song is called Invisible, and it's pretty much just, I think we have this fear of being like, I won't say left out, but being irrelevant.
Oh yeah.
I think we all battle that as we get
Especially
older.
as artists, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure, man.
So that's what that song is talking about. Just that, and unfortunately, we try to fill that void, that emptiness with the wrong things.
Yeah. The ego in particular, which can lead to all kinds of problems.
Yeah. So, that's the science behind that one. And the one before that, Blues of a True Believer is just, like I said, I'm on that Rock Marciano flow.
Yes, you were definitely in your Rock Marciano pocket.
Yeah.
As soon as you said that, I'm like, God damn, he is.
Well, again, just the music, seeing how the music has come back around to boom bap.
Minus the boom.
Yeah, a lot of the night. You
right.
hear a lot of songs with
no drums.
It's just the soul without the drums.
Yeah, it's it definitely took me some time to get used to. Rock Marciano wasn't the first example of that that I came across, but he was the first example that made me start to see the light with that, that aesthetic of hip hop.
I know Westside Gun does that a lot. Westside Gun, Griselda.
That whole Griselda, they all kind of embody that. There's some other guys too. He messes with Rock Marciano a lot. I like him. He's kind of some of that scummy drug dealer music. Flea Lord.
Yeah.
Flea Lord is dope, man.
Yeah. And again, I'm always for people telling their stories.
Yeah.
If you live the rough life and you have that story to tell your story, because we all got dark chapters. I know I got some dark chapters. Lord knows I got some dark chapters. So, but the thing is, you have to be careful that you're not glorifying the wrong thing, especially when this music is being weaponized to influence the youth.
Yes, exactly.
So again, tell your story, but be honest about it. You know what I mean? Like if you out there selling and you doing things, then talk about the consequences of that. Don't just make it seem like drug dealing is the best thing, like you're gonna get a pension.
You might get a pinch in, but you ain't gonna get a pension.
You ain't gonna get a pension. Ain't no retirement plan. So stop trying to make it seem like you can write your taxes and stuff and be like, what's your occupation? Street pharmaceuticalist stuff, and you know what I mean? Like,
and even then, I'm a very spiritual person, more so than a lot of people I know and my friends. I'm usually the one that's the deepest on that end in the room amongst my group of people. But I think coming from a spiritual sense, we're casting spells with these words out here, for real. That's why it's called spelling. You arrange letters in an order that will give an energetic resonance. Those words and how you feel when you see that word and you perceive its meaning or your understanding of it, that's conjuring, So you got to watch out what you conjuring out there. There's a lot of Tupac. I remember one of his famous things he said was, I never had problems with police until I started doing songs about police. And who killed Tupac? So be mindful of what kind of energy you're putting back, because the karma loop come around swift sometimes, and you might not be able to withstand a tidal wave, which started as just a drop in a bucket where you were at, but it goes all the way around, butterfly effect, come back around, and now you're going to get swallowed up by the karma loop. So you got to be mindful of what you're saying, especially, I changed how I started moving once I had kids in my life, even before my son, his older sisters who were my stepdaughters, I started, I knew eventually they're going to get old enough. They're going to YouTube. They're going to look me up, and like, I changed my rap name over that shit, because there's a lot of stupid ass shit I said when I was young, and ain't no way in hell I want my son to come across that. And I didn't want his sisters to come across it either. And my stepdaughter now, Jordan, I don't want her to come across something where I'm disparaging women, for example. You just got to think about the power your words have, especially when these words are, you know, if things go your way as an artist, these words are going to be broadcast all to millions of sets of ears, and most of them are going to be young people.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
what kind of a world are you going to contribute to creating? Do you want to, you know, one that you're proud of, or one that, you know, might temporarily fill your pockets and have you empty later on?
Yeah. Yeah.
So some food for thought for all y'all rappers out there, and not just rappers, singers, artists, anybody. You know what I mean? Like, be aware of what you're putting out. It's there is a point to vent, there is a point to express, but I don't believe art was meant to destroy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Things get destroyed to make room to build new things, and that's probably about the only, you know, artist might paint over a canvas if he doesn't like the picture, and he'll come up with a new picture. Yeah. But you know, if you're not careful, you're burning the canvas, and then no one gets to enjoy it.
Yeah. And just, you know, this whole thing of self-destruction being marketed and promoted like it's good, like that's what's up, you know? Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. Like, I see cats on YouTube and they doing their music videos and they talking about they shooting this person and that person, and then when the cops come from them, they like, why you messing with me? And it's like, well, bro, you sitting here, you like, I'm on 34th Street.
Yeah.
I got a pocket of rocks.
Yeah.
So the cops are like, they on the internet too, like, oh, word? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Especially in Chicago, the drill music scene. The drill music scene in Chicago, you know, that's like O Block. That's like where
Lil Durk and all
Durk,
that.
And Chief Keef and stuff. And those guys, you know, they're rapping about killing their ops who they really killed. You know, it's art because it's music and it's being made, but I don't think that's what, you know, Kool Herc had in mind when he started spinning records way at the very beginning of how this culture came about. And it's people in suits that are weaponizing it against us. You know, we're following the lead of these major marketing campaigns that are selling brands, and you know, in the States it's filling jail cells. And people forget that there were backdoor deals done between the music industry, in particular which was focused on hip hop and
prison industrial complex.
Yeah, exactly. And they were basically recruited to create a template that would brainwash the youth to fill those prisons. Mm-hmm. So why would we, you know, other than if it's just self-centered personal gain, there really is nothing to gain from that, you know. It's dirty money.
Well,
you know,
and it's like, you know, these cats bragging about selling crack and all this stuff, and it's like, do you understand the history that was part of the government plan to destabilize communities?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you sitting there bragging about destroying your community. Mm-hmm. You know, so again, it's about just being wise and yeah, tell your story. If you were out there and you lived that code and you got away from that, that's an inspirational story, because a lot of people don't make it out of that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but to sit there and you got these dudes in their 40s and they bragging about this stuff, and it's like, come on, bro, you know better. You not, first of all, you're not even in there. Some of these dudes, they kids going to private schools. Mm-hmm. You know, they living in a gated community, but they still talking about that same stuff, or like they're in their 50s and it's, oh, I'm at the club and I'm talking to all the girls, and it's like, really, bro, you the oldest dude up in the club, this is what we doing? Like, I'm not trying to be that guy, you know what I mean?
And you know what's sad is, on the other side of the coin, the guy that stepped away from that life, the guy that was glorifying that, and he might have been the man on the block, you know, back in the 2000s, or, you know, however many decades ago.
Yeah.
But for the few that did walk away and did the right thing, unfortunately, they're going to be looked at as a sucker.
Yeah.
And that's not how it should be, you know. There's a lot of heroes that will go unrecognized. Mm-hmm. And we gotta kind of realize, who are we allowing to be lionized in these days and times? Who are, like, are we really gonna like support snitch culture, you know, with Tekashi, you know? Mm-hmm. Oh man, there's just so much. This is a whole other Pandora's box we shouldn't be bringing up at this point in the episode.
Yeah. Again,
we could go forever.
Yeah, that might have to be another episode where we talk about that, because again, there's a plan there. When you put these plants in, and they get a whole bunch of dudes locked up, You know, somebody's benefiting from that. Just like with war. You know what I mean? Like, what's the incentive for peace when people are making money off of destroying lives? What's the incentive for peace? You know, when our Congress people are making money off of stocks from defense companies. You know what I mean? Not only are they in there making the policies that get us in the war, they benefiting from the war.
On the back end.
On the back end.
Both sides, they're sitting at both sides of the table.
And what kind of gets me a little upset now is that hip hop is silent on this stuff. When I came up, you had hip hop that spoke out against these things, but like we talked about before, the corporations have came and taken over these, you know, because when hip hop was coming up, they were like, man, what is this jungle music, nothing. But then once it started influencing these kids, and I was one of them, going to the library, reading about Malcolm X, reading about Marcus Garvey, reading about, you know, the crack epidemic, all this stuff, you know, they were promoting critical thought.
Yeah.
They were promoting, so we wasn't accepting that mainstream, but now it's silent. All this injustice going on, and you know, cats are just still talking about, yo, I'm pushing this, I'm pushing this $500,000 car, and it's like, I remember in high school, bro, if you had a Maxima, if you had a Golf, you was the man. You know what I mean? Like if you had a little Sentra. It's like when my kids was in high school, my elder, he's like, Dad, I gotta get a Bugatti. I was like, what? Can you even spell Bugatti? Like, how, like what? Like, this is a $500,000 car. How are you at 17 thinking this is what you need?
Yeah.
You know, so we got to be careful about this message that we put out there, because it does shape the mind and the behavior, you know, of the kids coming up. So again, we want cats to come up here, spit your bars, tell your stories, you know, but you know, just be conscious of like you said, the energy that you put out, because trust, it's coming back.
Hell yeah.
You know?
And that goes on the good side of the coin as well, you know. Much like how me and Ski are here doing this podcast, you know, this will help get some eyes on our music, of course, but we're doing this because we love this, and we just like to see artists like who we had last episode, Nakio. We like to see guys like that get into a place where they deserve to be. You know, artists like that need to be heard. There needs to be more artists like that.
Yeah.
You know, like the major money machine and all the gaslighting they've done to all the artists, and we're just re-perpetuating that gaslighting by, you know, making a hardworking person, you know, a sucker because they're not rocking J's and Shine, and they don't have a grill, and you know they're not pushing weight. You know, like
that's crazy. Like, I don't understand that this whole thing of, you know, making a person, trying to say a person is a sucker for working and having a job and doing, you know what I mean? Like, what's wrong? That's how you build character. You know what I mean? Like getting up and going into work, and you know what I mean? Like we have to be careful what we glorify. You know, like there's nothing wrong with building a strong work ethic. You know, because you're going to need that work ethic to go along with you in life. You know, so sitting there saying, I remember what movie was that when they was like, it was a gangster movie where they said the working man is a sucker. What was it? A Bronx Tale, I think it was. And the gangster on the block was saying that, you know, a sucker is a working man.
Yeah.
But then when the kid told his dad that, his dad was like, nah, don't listen to that. You know? But it's hypnotizing when you get out there and you see this guy has the nice car. He has the respect.
Yeah.
He has the women, you know, and you start wanting that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you don't see, and this is what we're talking about when these cats putting out their music, talking about selling drugs and the illegal activities. They're not telling you the whole picture.
No.
They're not telling you about being in that cell. They're not telling you about friends, you know, pushing up, you know, 6 feet. Here you are, 17 years old, 18 years old. Your life haven't even started, and you all shot up now.
or they ain't telling you that it wasn't even them to begin with. This is somebody they knew, but they rapping from the perspective like this is them.
Yeah.
They're trying to put on somebody else's coat and, you know, trying to act like that's them, you know, and like sometimes they need to have a bulletproof vest because that coat's going to get some shots popped at them, you know?
Yeah, you definitely going to get people test you when they're like, oh, so you built like that? Okay.
Yeah,
You know?
because the people that are really about that life do not appreciate, you know, somebody getting out on Front Street and trying to act like that's, you know, they're living that life, because they're kind of suckerifying it for the people who really do live that life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And it's just be authentic, man. At the end of the day, children, just be authentic.
Be authentic.
Be who you are.
That's it right there.
You'll
Be
know
you.
what's right and wrong. It's in your gut feeling. We're all, you know, most of us were raised by good parents in a good community, a decent community at least. So we all have a fairly similar baseline of what's right and wrong, and your gut usually can tell you that, you know, better than who you're hanging out with can in your ear sometimes.
Well,
you know?
and I must say that, you know, listening to a lot of the artists here in the city and stuff, I think a lot of them are telling their story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're being themselves.
Yes.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like
I don't see a lot of I've seen some of like the glorification of those things, but again, like those are people that are involved in that life, and they're not like in videos, like in limousines, you know, toasting in pimp glasses, like with full bottles and strippers. You know what I mean? Like they're doing like how you were saying. They're explaining like what it was like to, like, you know, not have anything at all, and this to be your last resort, and that's why you're doing it.
Yeah.
That's a whole different bag of worms than somebody who just thinks it sounds cool to say that on stage and dress a certain way, and try to, you know, basically be an actor.
Yeah.
You know?
I heard some local artists talk about everything from mental health to battling addiction. You know what I mean? So that's the music we need to hear. Or like we were talking about earlier, health and nutrition. Like why can't somebody do a dope song about, you know, eating healthy and nutrition? Like hip hop used to do that, whether it was KRS-One Beef or if it was Dead Prez talking about lentil soup is good for the youths. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like we need that type of stuff to feed our souls.
Soul food, Goody Mob. Right?
One of my favorites.
That's probably
man.
the best example I can pull out of that.
Yeah. Goody Mob, dope, man. I was so, again,
There is a group that is slept on, hey?
Yeah.
Like, they should be brought up a lot more. You know, people still talk about CeeLo Green a bit, but Goody Mob as a group.
Yeah. Oh,
They, you
Who's
know,
that
I put
peeking in my
them as
window?
equal with Outkast. I really did. Like, Outkast did a lot more gender bending. Or not gender bending, genre bending, sorry.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Whoopsie.
Genre bending. But they still, you know, because they were being themselves and being authentic,
They were being.
they carved their own lane. There you go. They weren't trying to emulate a lane or mimic a lane. You know.
Yeah. What that was so dope about him was that Big Boy had his personality and Andre had his personality, even though they were kind of
Contrast.
Yeah.
Near the end, they were like night and day. Man. Yeah.
And you know, matter of fact, that what was that album they came out? Big Boy kind of had
the split albums. There was Speaker Box
and The Love Below.
That's it. Yeah, I couldn't remember Andres. Yeah.
I mean, that was a dope way to be like, look, bro, you know, you got your own thing, your vibe, I got my vibe. Let's put a product together where
I actually really love that idea, man. You know, forcing one message and one narrative. You know, like if you're a group, like for example, I love these guys, but like MOP, you know what you're getting with MOP every time, and it's awesome. It's amazing. I love it. Some of my favorite music came from those guys, but you know what you're getting every time. But then Andre 3000 walks along.
you might get a flute.
Yeah,
might
I
get
was
some
supposed-
bars.
He might play some binaural beat flute music that will,
Get your chakras right.
that will open your third eye and decalcify your pineal gland.
Yeah, for real. So it looks like we got to get ready to get up out of here. And
Shout out to the homie Kostya Rise Dev Beats, our engineer in training. Shout out to Jamal, our starting lineup engineer. Shout out to K-Ski.
helping us out. Shout out to my man Cavill One.
Bruh, bruh.
And we gonna put out who we gonna have up here next month. And like I said, we got this new format we're gonna try out. And I say by the summertime we're gonna have it nice and smooth.
And then if it's as smooth as we anticipate it being, we might possibly be able to double up and be 2 episodes a month, one every other week. We're also talking about trying to get a web episode
if we can.
Yeah, it's gonna see how smooth we can get everything between now and the summertime, basically. So this is the workout the kinks. You know, we're in new moon phase right now. We'll be moving into full moon phase somewhere around July, hopefully.
Yeah. So thank y'all for tuning in, and thank you for hanging out with us, and thank Beaumont Theater for allowing B-Side Radio to be in here, and shout out to everybody out there listening. And hey, hit us up. Like I said, this platform is about servicing artists and helping other people network, get access to resources to help them push their art and their career further. So just look us up on Instagram, MCKSki, and
Kava1, KAVAWON. On Instagram, you can find me at Kava Does Kava Stuff. KAVADUZ KAVASTUFF.
You didn't make it easy for people, does Even me, when people be like MCK Ski, they be like MC. I'm like, no, EMCE.
Actually, I had that issue when I first added you. That's how it is. That's how it was. That's how it will be, Vancouver. Until we see you again, this is the Beyond the Lyrics podcast. That is my man, K-Ski. I am Kava1.
Peace.
There we go. That was smooth, man.
Yeah.
Now do we...
Yeah, you can click stop recording.